Mike Owens here. Then joined by Jorge Gamebred Masvidal. He's back with Gamebred Bareknuckle MMA 7, March 2nd in Orlando, Florida. Jorge, always a pleasure to get your time, my man. How are things for you today?
How you doing, brother?
I'm very well, my friends. How are you? First and foremost, we've had a couple of these chats now. I think the last time we spoke was prior to the Roy Nelson Alan Belcher fight that you promoted. Can you give me an assessment of how 2023 went for you in the world of Gamebred Bareknuckle?
I loved it. At one point we had in just a 5 hour broadcasting with Junior Dos Santos versus Fabricio Verdum, we had 1 million views. We broke right over 1 million views in just 5 hours for a brand new promotion. And yeah, I use my pages to advertise. I use a lot of the social media, but it's all organic. It's all homegrown. It's my YouTube. It's my Facebook. It's my Instagram, and that's really it. And we're getting these type of eyeballs. Obviously, it's these great fighters that are competing against each other that everybody wants to tune in, but they were able to make so much noise and get so many eyeballs there. I mean, we had I think 115,000 people streaming live on the YouTube. You know, that's huge numbers for that. Just having been a second or third show. Um, I'm incredibly pumped. Then after that, the ball just kept rolling. We've kept getting great numbers. We're doing better in attendance. In our last show in Mississippi, we freaking did phenomenal, sold out. You know, so it's ever growing. You know, and it's getting stronger. And I feel like more fighters are reaching out to me every time I put on a show. It's like I can't believe it. I open up my messages, emails, and I'll be like, I can't believe so and so wants to come fight bare knuckle. I never would have thought so and so wanted to fight bare knuckle, and the list goes on and on. So I think 2024 we're really gonna make a statement. We're really gonna make separation between me and every other promotion. The way I see it, it's only the UFC really that has it because there's no clear number two. There is no number two. So we're not competing ever against the UFC because obviously we're bare knuckle and they're a different, complete different beasts, and there is no competing against the UFC in my eyes. But as far as being the legit number two organization in the world of MMA, that's guaranteed going to be us. I mean, we're already doing better numbers in PFL and any of their broadcasting that they've ever had or Bellator combined. You can combine both their last shows; they got less views than we did live. You know, so it's crazy because we're not in no network TV. We don't have no big fucking investor funding, nothing. When all that starts to come in, all everybody's gonna talk about and hear about is Gamebred, bare knuckle. You know, just with this fight right now, JDS and Alan Belcher, we're looking to break some records. You know, with the live streaming and the live attendance.
What do you attribute that to, Jorge? Do you think people are watching because they're following your name? Do you think it's the bare knuckle aspect? What do you attribute the rise of your promotion, the fast rise of your promotion to?
I think that, you know, if I put on like some shit card and I said, hey guys, tune in and watch it. Yeah, 5, 10, 15, 20, 30,000
Mm.
of my lawyer following fans. They've been watching me since the street fights. Like, man, we love you, motherfucker. You put on so many fights for you. We'll watch even this dog shit. But since I'm not putting on dog shit,
Mm.
since I'm putting on some of the most rawest fights you could possibly find, and I got something that nobody else has, they're bare knuckle and they're fucking legal. You know that these guys are well taken care of. There's referees, there's a medical staff, but I'm also getting you the best, baddest free agents, killers out there, and line them up to face each other in matchups that people are like, damn, I fucking can't believe these two are gonna fight, and it's bare knuckle.
Mm.
I think that's what's really driving the views. That we have a good that I have a good social media following and platforms like that. I think it definitely helps to get the word out, but that wouldn't take us to where we're at. It all has to do with the fighters at the end of the day and the performances that they're putting on.
I wanted to ask you about Junior Dos Santos and Fabricio Verdum, as you mentioned, because that was a fight that you promoted the back end of last year. I got the opportunity to catch up with Junior a couple of weeks ago, and he talked about after that fight, him and Fabricio have now squashed their 15-year-long beef. They've now appeared on a podcast together. They're now quote unquote friends. So I wanted to ask you, that must be quite a cool moment for you to hear that through your promotion, through promoting that fight, you've got guys from a 15-year rivalry to now consider themselves friends.
Yeah, I mean, especially two great guys like that I look up to that are great competitors. You know, JDS has been my teammate for like 7, 8 years. Fucking love the crap out of the guy. You know, for Doom, I've been watching him since he was in fucking Pride, man, and then he came on over to UFC and he had like a little bit of a stumble, and then he came back and then boom, beats the greatest heavyweight of my generation and Cain Velasquez. You know, so I'm like, fuck, and then he goes out there and I think 2 time heavyweight champion, right?
Yeah,
Fabricio is he?
correct. Yeah.
Fucking nuts, man. He was just a jiu-jitsu guy from Brazil. He was a Mundial champion. For him to change his whole style up like that and be able to kick, punch, wrestle, I love that type of stuff. So both guys, as just a pure fan, I'm fucking like stoked about that they're getting along. It's even better, you know. I like it that they get along. You know, both are great competitors, and I know both of them fairly well, and I think they're great human beings as well.
Yeah, no, 100%. This is obviously the first heavyweight title fight under Gamebred Bareknuckle. I know when we spoke at one point last year, we talked about you potentially looking at the UK as a market you would like
Yes,
to
sir.
come to at one point. So I'd like to know, what are your goals for 2024 for the promotion? Are there specific title fights you want to put on certain divisions? Are there certain markets you want to hit? What are the big goals you want to get to?
We wanna originally wanted to put on 12 shows this year because of some venues and things like that. We fell short of that goal, so we're gonna put up 8 shows again this year. Um, I would love for England to be more towards the end of the year, just create that boom. And we got a couple English guys that can fill up stadiums. So we just got to make sure we have enough English guys that we go to England with fucking something that every English fight fan has to fucking see that says I gotta check this out one way or another, you know. So when those ducks all fall in the room, we got the right venue, we got the right athletes to take over there. Believe me, we're over there. Hopefully it's this year towards the end of the year.
100%. I wanted to take you back a little bit to a video you posted a couple of days ago of your teammate Dustin Poirier, who referred to Gamebred bare knuckle as, and I quote, the purest form of combat. That's got to be nice to hear DP say, give your promotion such rave reviews.
Another guy that I'm a fucking huge fan of. Happened to be his teammate for like 11, 10 years. So that's fucking cool as fuck. But I've seen this guy through the ranks rise. You know, when he got over to our gym, he was at 145 and he was cutting like 30 pounds per fight. And then, you know, the team talked to him, said, man, go to 55. We think you do amazing. Then he went to 55, went on a monstrous run, has beaten the who's Hall of Famers, knocked them fucking dead. So I definitely fucking huge fan of Dustin Poirier, and not just that, his style, the way that he fights, he embodies American top team, what American top team stands for. It's like, man, go out there and give it your fucking all, and if you die trying, so fucking be it. But go out there and give it your all, everything that you've learned, all the conditioning that you fucking achieved over here, go over there and leave nothing behind. And he is literally that guy, you know. So to hear Dustin talk that highly of the promotion is fucking amazing, you know. Especially we're not like paying guys to do that because we can't do that, you know what I'm saying? We don't got no money like that, you know. So for him to come through and be like, bam, show some love straight from the heart, that's fucking amazing, man.
Have you been involved in his preparations for his next fight upcoming at all? And if so, what are your thoughts on the Benoit Saint-Denis
No,
matchup?
no, I haven't been in Florida too much. If not, I would have been up and down with Dustin, giving him whatever
Mm,
rounds he would need, you know. But we've done a lot of previous fight camps where he's beaten the crap out of me, and I've helped him out as much as I can, getting him ready for fights. So we've worked a bunch. If I would have been around 100%, I would have been in there with him.
100%. We have to talk about you, Jorge, and I'm sure you've had this question posed to you in every interview you've done since you tweeted the word unretired last month. What can you tell me? Is there something I know you can't talk specifics if it's not announced, but is there something in the works for the near future?
I'm definitely trying to do some boxing matches. You know, I love MMA. It's my favorite sport in the whole world. I did it for 20 years. It'll always be number one to me. But the chance to do some boxing matches, probably things like that. You know, I wouldn't mind breaking somebody's face the fisticuffs way. You know, and boxing was also like the first combat sport that I really like discovered and started like dwelling into. And then later on, 4, 5, 6 years, I discovered MMA when I'm like 11. And I'm like, wow, this is fucking. I gotta find out more about this. I gotta do so the rest of my life. And I took off on that MMA journey, but I always loved boxing. Now, once I got to the UFC, I signed a strict contract. It doesn't let me do anything else. So I never got to test my boxing skills. I think it's a good time for me now to test my boxing skills, especially against a lot of these guys that don't respect the sport how you're supposed to. And by respect it is you have to put in the time, the effort, and get the conditioning that the sport deserves. A lot of these guys don't do that. They're doing like half-ass jobs and it shows. That's why they're not able to go out there and be mean every second of every minute and every minute of every round. They're fucking taking time off. They're fucking pointing at each other, taking selfies in the fucking ring. If I go in there or when I go in there, it's only the scrap, man. It's only the fucking, you know, bring that beautiful fucking science that boxing has and mixed with a lot of conditioning and a lot of fucking emotion to hurt these guys.
The new BMF champion, Justin Gaethje, is defending his belt at UFC 300. I don't know if you ever had the opportunity, or if it was ever discussed that you would defend your belt, the BMF belt that you won at 244. But do you think the BMF belt as a symbolic world championship should be defended?
So when I won the belt, Dana said that it'd be 1-1 and the belt is done and be no defending of it. So there never was no talk about it, at least for me. But I think now the temperature on that theme has changed. You know, now it's a little different. They're doing things a little different. And Justin's very good. The guy that he beat to get that belt is a fucking stud, is a killer, and Dustin Poirier. But I just feel like, man, if you put BMF against BMF, you put me against Gaethje in there, I will break his fucking eye orbital and I will fucking chop him up, man. You know, so hopefully that could happen at some point, you know.
100%. It must be quite a cool point for your legacy, Jorge, that you were the first BMF champion. I mean, we could look at this in years to come, and this could be a long-standing tradition of
yes, sir.
Two dozen world champions,
Yes,
BMF champions. It must be a proud moment for you to have been the initial one to have kind of brought that into the world as we see this now defended again in April.
Yes, sir. I think it's amazing. You just got to pick the right guys to challenge for, guys that are bringing it all, that are leaving it all on the line for the fans, for the entertainment. Yes, everybody wants to win. Yes, everybody wants to put on a good show, and everybody wants to win in a spectacular fashion. But you know, those BMFs ain't easy to find. I think Max Holloway is one of the baddest motherfuckers that ever lived like that. That's a dude that I fucking salute. I love his style. I love his story. I love his fucking beginnings. I love how humble of a fucking person he is, you know. I'm going obviously for Max all the way, you know, but I think it's going to be a fucking great fight.
I know that you're a boxing connoisseur, so if you could make a BMF title fight in the boxing world from past or present, who do you think would deserve to fight for such a championship?
There's a lot of guys in boxing. There's a lot of guys in boxing. I'm gonna say, because they never got the fight, I always wonder what would have happened. Roberto Duran versus, I don't know, Pernell Whitaker. That could be an amazing fight, you know. Roberto Duran versus Floyd Mayweather. That could be an amazing fight, you know. I would like to mix up generations, you know, like Sugar Ray Leonard versus Floyd Mayweather, something like that. There's so many fights, man. Marvin Hagler versus Bernard Hopkins. Let's see what happens there. There's so fucking many fights, man, that I could just sit here and fucking spaz off, you know. Joe Calzaghe in his prime versus Roy Jones Jr. I know they got the fight, but I would have liked to see that a little bit more, you know, in their primes, you know. So there's so many fucking fights out there who deserve that BMF belt.
100%. Let's turn the conversation for a couple more questions. And again, Jorge, thank you for your time. But I want to turn the conversation back to this upcoming card. First heavyweight title fight coming up, as I mentioned earlier. Why did it feel like the right time to bring this up?
When we started putting the event together, we initially we wanted to already break it down. And when we were looking at all our weight classes, all our roster, the depth of our roster, heavyweight stuck out because we had a lot of guys. They're just standouts there.
Yeah.
They had competed in big shows, had won big fights, and they had that grit about them, you know. And then we brought them over. That's before we brought them over. Then we brought them over to the MMA side with no gloves. It's a little different. Not everybody's meant for it. And these guys competed well, so then we started formulating our little tournament. You know, we had Alan Belcher versus Roy Nelson over here. And we had Junior Dos Santos versus Fabricio Werdum over here. Winners met at the top, and now we're about to find out who's the king, who is the fucking undisputed heavyweight champion of the world, no gloves. MMA, full MMA, but no gloves, you know? So it's fucking amazing, you know, because me and my team saw this from a thought, from writing down a piece of paper, putting on the fucking chalkboard, to now just 2-3 weeks away from this coming 100% to fruition, you know? So the ride has been amazing. This will be our first crown heavyweight champion. And then I think we're probably going to drop down to either 185 or 170s, where we have a good amount of standouts as well. 135 as well. So in between those weight classes will bring our next championship.
Last one from me, Jorge. I've obviously spent a lot of time in my life watching interviews of Jorge Masvidal as the fighter. I've only ever had the opportunity to interview you as the promoter, but you do seem to really enjoy this when we talk about this. You do seem to have a lot of passion, a lot of understanding about the sport. Was this a turn from fighter into promoter that you always envisaged you would take at some point?
Man, ask me a question about the Super Bowl, or ask me to watch the Super Bowl, or ask me to go watch a basketball game. I'll fucking, all of a sudden the connection went bad, and I'm doing something else, man. I'm not trying to diss those sports and other, but it just it can't capture my attention as in fighting. You know, it could be two guys that I've never in my life heard of. And if, you know, the action is good and the technique is right, I'm watching the fight. I'm finding who these guys, how many fights does this guy have? How long has he been in the sport? And I'm doing all the stuff that a promoter or a fight scout would be doing to get somebody in my show. And it's not work for me. It's because I actually enjoy it. Maybe about 3 years ago, right after the pandemic, is when we started promoting. I started getting heavier and heavier into the promoting game. I threw my first couple of shows. It's been 3 years now. I love it. It's a hat that I could wear the whole rest of my life because it's something that flows so easy and so intertwined with me. Find good guys that are great fighters, whether they're younger or older, put them together, get with my matchmakers, fucking come up with a sick ass card, and then promote it to the world. Just do this, what I'm doing right now. Just talk to you and tell you, man, I got the best fucking fight coming up this March 2nd. I got these motherfuckers, not only are they animals, but they're gonna take the gloves off. Done. That's it. I got your money, man. Let's go.
So I love it.
I love it, man. I love it, man. I love promoting. I've been doing this for a long, long time.
I love it. Jorge, always great to chat with you, my friend. Thank you for your time as always, and best of luck with the event next Saturday.
My best, my brother. See you.
Make sure to subscribe to the LowKick MMA YouTube channel for all the latest news, event previews, and interviews with some of the biggest stars in MMA.